The Industrial Revolution was the fundamental change in the manufacturing of goods. People were starting to shift from the domestic system of making goods by hand to the factory system of machines making the goods for them. This evolution of agricultural machinery brought about many positive and negative effects on both adults and children. When the uprising of the Industrial Revolution emerged around 1750, many positive aspects came about. Middle-class citizens were growing richer off the factories and inventions they were creating. Due to these inventions and factories, many opportunities for new jobs, goods, and transportation became available. Because of these convenient circumstances, the Industrial Revolution created an infinite number of comfort and conveniences which had no existence 2 or 3 centuries ago. For example, the more goods the textile factories made, the cheaper the product would become. The cheaper the product, the more people buy it. The more people buy the merchandise, the more money the factory has to keep making the goods and pay their workers. Because of these vast amount of goods, factories needed a more efficient way to transport their products. You can now travel cheaply from place to place and not only travel at a less expense, but travel 10 times quicker than 200 years ago. With all of these benefits from the uprising of industry, production of materials was dramatically increased. From 1740 to 1900, for the British iron production, the number of tons of iron went from 17,350 to 9 million tons. Because of these factors of the Industrial Revolution, effects on the economic structure were very positive. Despite these positive aspects, there were also many negative effects, including harsh working conditions, especially for children, long work hours and little pay, and living environments for workers. The working environment and the conditions that the laborers worked in were very poor. People were becoming extremely ill from the dust in the factories and from overwork and insufficient diet. Children especially were put at risk every day due to the dangers of machines and the exhausting hours that they worked. Most children worked about 16 hours a day with only 1 break for lunch. Even after a rough day at the factory, adults and children went home to poor living conditions. The rivers would be full of pollution and waste from the factories, the cabins were surrounded by garbage, and the streets were strewn with refuse. The pay for these workers also did not live up to good expectations. They barely made enough to pay their rent of about 75 cents a week. This may seem like a small amount to pay, but with the wages that these laborers earned, it was a fairly large burden for them. Factory owners tried to cover up their harsh rules by saying they had special regulations that made their factory very different. As hard as they tried, the truth was eventually exposed and safety regulations were established. Looking at the positive and negative effects of the Industrial Revolution, we can see that they had a huge impact on British history. Even though industry helped with the economic status of many middle-class citizens, it also degraded many factory laborers and their working environments. The uprising of industry has definitely shaped the world into the society it has today.
Never an honest word, but that was when I ruled the world.